What is up, everybody? You are listening to On the Reelbros podcast. It's been quite the hiatus since our last episode, but I'm here with Brandon and John, and this is Alex. Hey. And today we have a very, very special topic, one that's close to our hearts and many creative professionals' hearts. And it is, at the end of the day, what are we really selling? And how to build trust with clients and get them to believe in what you're providing them, and in turn get bigger and better jobs moving forward. So,
yeah, it's tricky stuff.
Yeah,
it really is.
And
I guess, I mean, maybe it's not only building trust with like the clients. It's since we're young and building trust and working in this industry and doing these projects, I think that plays a little bit more into how hard it is.
Yeah. I think full disclosure before we really dive into this, we don't have an answer for this one.
No, we're just going to argue.
We don't have a definitive answer.
Yeah.
We have an exploration of ideas.
Yeah,
like
we're just
many
tossing
people.
ideas around.
And there's no right.
It's basically what a podcast is.
No right and wrong way to do it. There's just better ways to do it. But to touch on your point, John, I do think age has been the biggest barrier for us as a business.
Yeah. We thought it was the name at first. Remember when we started it? It was like Reelbros. Everyone thought that, oh, how do you sounds childish. I feel like we talked about this in a podcast before, but it wasn't ever that. It came down as we kept, moving forward through this. It
comes
was
down to age.
Yeah, it was always age, which I get.
They're always
it's like,
very surprised to hear that we're the owners of the company.
Always, yeah.
Always
they feel like we're just the people that come to show up to do the work.
Yeah, like we have a boss that we, report to, but
we don't.
We are.
You were talking to
boss.
us the whole time.
I am
production.
the boss, bitch.
I am the captain, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I think that comes in with age is a misnomer for experience in a lot of cases. So people think that the older you are, the more experience you have in a professional environment, and they put a lot more trust right off the bat in that person's expertise.
I mean, which makes sense, right?
I mean, it does, but there's
technically,
also,
as we grew up doing, schooling and stuff, who did you listen to? It was like the wiser people because they knew more stuff. They've been around longer, but it's hardly the case for that now because the stuff that we're doing, we can learn on our own. However young we wanted, we can. I mean, especially with the internet, we can learn as much as we wanted to, right?
Yeah, and
so that kind of plays with, I can learn what these guys are learning now. 5 years ago or whatever.
That's true. And you can learn it quicker and more efficiently.
Right.
But also, I think it's, you get back what you put into it. And we spend a lot of time thinking about studying, practicing, failing at this to have amassed a fair amount of experience so far for our very young careers in the industry. And it's how do you convey that experience to people? Because some people see it right off the bat, clients, and others don't believe us, and they make it a very uphill battle the entire process to produce their work, their content, share our ideas, and get them a better result. Because I think going into it, a lot of clients have an idea of what they want, and they have this preconceived notion that they're older and more experienced in their industry, and they know what needs to be done, and this is how it should be done, when really they're basically chaining themselves up to a huge hurdle that they can't get over without more creative input and creative thought. And that's kind of what our job is.
Yeah.
Well said.
And that's a wrap, everybody.
Well,
good night.
And that wraps today's podcast. Thank you.
Thank you. Well,
no, but yeah, so how do you, I guess the problem then is how do you educate and communicate to your client your process and why you're bringing value to the table?
And how you're not selling videos.
Because, yeah, a lot of people think we sell videos or you sell photos, and the first thing out of a lot of people's mouths is how much for a video?
Right.
And
I'm like, what does that even mean?
It's a very complicated question.
What's a video?
Off the bat, but
a video could be like a chipmunk in the backyard that I took on my cell phone.
Yeah. What are we actually selling?
I don't know.
No, I mean, that's pretty spot on. It could range. There's so much to shoot. You can throw anything into a software and make a video and export a project.
Right.
But it's about, what are we talking about? What's the substance of the project? Because that's what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about, do you shoot videos? You want to talk about, what do you want to shoot? What are we going to put in it to give it some substance?
It kind of brings up that project that we just saw on Vimeo with you shoot videos.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was
Kind of the
killer.
same idea.
that's pretty good. Yeah. Also, why you shoot the video? Like, what is the purpose? What's the end goal?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you're trying to gain a result, and whether that result is sell more product, educate people about a product, or help somebody's brand awareness, or make somebody feel something, there's always going to be a result. Like, we don't shoot video for just to shoot video because we can.
Yeah.
We're always trying to do something with it and create a result from it. And I think that's what part of the profession is, that is unrealized or lost in communication from the start with clients, is they're not able to attribute the start, middle, and end process together. They just see the start and they know the end. They don't know how to get to the end. And that's where educating the client comes in, is this is how we get to the end, and this is why we do the process the way we do it.
And with educating becomes, the client needs to trust you for them to let you educate them. No one's just going to be like listening just to, educate them. Not everyone's just going to listen to you. Right? I mean, some people are very stubborn. Like, why would I?
Yeah.
I know my ways. Why would I change it just because you were saying it's different? I don't know.
Until they see it, and then they're like, oh.
Right, and they're like, oh, well, shit.
Makes sense. But let's go around the table then, and I guess let's try and answer for ourselves what we're selling. I guess do you want me to go first, or you guys want to go first? Whatever.
What are we selling? Selling as like Reelbros or like?
Yeah, no, as Reelbros, like elevator pitch. We don't sell. It's gonna be hard for some people to understand. We don't sell video. We don't sell photos. We don't sell like content per se.
The problem with clients is they look at it too much as like a physical product, whereas it's more so brand equity for their company.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're trading. Basically, it's an exchange of their money, their investment into their brand's value and how they communicate their ideas or product or whatever it is to their prospective clients. And that's a very valuable thing. And I think a lot of the older generations that didn't grow up in the media age and the age of the internet and YouTube and advertising's golden time, they don't understand that. And I think I realized that a lot in my personal life and in the professional world. They think it's just, they underestimate the value that content is in the modern age. And they group it into this creative little box that can only go so far, when really it can have a lot bigger impact, a lot bigger effect on their business. So I was at a family neighborhood get together for Labor Day weekend, and of course you get the those generic family friend questions of like, oh, what do you do for work, and oh, how's the business and all this stuff. And I always say, oh, it's going great. I own a business and we do commercial production and media. And then that always leads into, well, what's that? I don't quite get that. And it's like, oh, we make videos and photo work and content for advertising purposes. So I say like TV commercials and stuff like that. So, and then they're like, oh, wow, that's really awesome. And then being 25 at an event where I'm probably half the age of most people in attendance there, it kind of transitioned into this almost like not being taken seriously enough as to what we do as a business, and like, oh, you're a business owner, that's really cute, you make videos and stuff like that. And it translates to me, at least, as kind of a lack of respect for the craft. And then you go on to explain like, oh, well, we work with Peterbilt trucks and they're our client, and next week we're shooting the Coyotes promo and stuff like that. And it's kind of like still this cute, oh, that's cute mentality. And from a personal standpoint, as a creative, you're sitting there like, how far do I have to push this and go to have certain people take me seriously and like understand the value that this business is and how hard it is to build a successful media business and get opportunity and create that. Like, how do I have to go to the moon and back? Because you have these conversations with people and they're just like, oh, that's really cute. My nephew, he's an accountant, and they speak to him like he's a god, and it's like, shit.
Well, it's like I was speaking about this earlier. There's some businesses and some ways. I can't even speak right now.
Get it out.
No, I was saying some people work jobs that like what you were saying about there's older people in the room and they're basically saying like, oh, that's cool, you do media. It's like, okay, yes. I grew up with people, obviously, your dad was in the creative industry though, Alex. But my dad was in oil and stuff, and that stuff's like a necessity to people in that, so the people that work in those worlds of, like oil and, they're doctors and they're, pediatricians and stuff like that. Like that's a necessity, I feel like. And when people say like, think about it, like in school, like, you're going to be a doctor. What you mean
is they are in a position where they are selling a necessity.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
the service they offer is considered a necessity to like a regular citizen.
Can I stop you there on the little keyword that you said? What did you say? What are they doing? They're selling.
Yes.
So we'll come back to that one though. So.
Selling. But anyway, it's like, when you're in school and you're like, oh, I want to become a doctor. And like, oh, wow, you want to become a doctor. When I heard I did that in high school, it's, oh, you want to shoot videos. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's been the same. It hasn't changed since high school. Right? Or before, whenever you started doing it. Like nobody took that seriously because nobody thinks it is serious. I mean, in a sense, if you play it into big schemes, it's not serious work, but...
Well, it blows people's minds when you tell them you make a living off of it.
Well, think about it. There'd be no TV, there'd be no news, there'd be nothing without what we do, right? You wouldn't have any media, period, without that kind of stuff. So it's just weird to see when people have that opinion of like, oh, cool, that's nice. You shoot videos.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's, it takes I guess a certain person to understand what we're doing. I feel like when I talk to another business owner, they appreciate what we're doing and they think it's really cool because they understand what we're going through. Plus the addition of knowing the tech and knowing film and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's weird. Yeah. So it just bounces. Like if I go to someone that does oil, they don't give a shit. They don't care. It's like, oil runs the world. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Which, whatever. It's just personal opinions, I guess, on what you do.
Yeah, I just think it's understanding
how you grew up.
Understanding of the market too, because what we do is essentially art for commerce, which is art for commercial purposes, aka to provide a service that helps the economy sell itself, as we mentioned earlier. So like you have thousands of doctors in every city and everywhere around the world. How do you differentiate yourself from the other doctors? And that's kind of where our service of brand equity and creation of value comes into play. So I think it's a lack of sight beyond oneself to understand that it may just seem like video and photo, but we sell something so much bigger than that. And I think that's why this episode is existing right now and we're talking about it, because we're trying to come to an understanding of what it is we really sell at the end of the day, because we're selling something more than I think we're giving it value to right now by calling it video and photo production and stuff like that.
I think we figured that out now, though.
Advertising.
I think our industry is slowly becoming an industry that's of necessity, because like you said, if you want to stand out from the doctor, 3 streets away, you have to do something besides your practice to stand out, and that's to get people to know who you are. Yeah. And that's where we specialize in. Yeah. So having your client allow you to do what they hired you for, I think, like, why can't that be how it is? But I guess that's why we're talking about this, because it's how do you get your client there.
It's a work in progress. Yeah.
But I feel like we've just realized, the reason we're talking about this, because we've just realized this. I think when we started, we didn't really, I think we were just shooting videos.
Yeah.
In a sense, like when we just started up, we were kind of just doing that. And now we're getting deeper and deeper into it and realizing, okay, we can actually, for example, create change, with doing nonprofit work and stuff like that. And then you're like, okay, we're not really shooting videos anymore. Now we're like creating brand awareness for people. We're creating value for them. We're,
brand equity.
Right. And opening up this whole kind of box of cookies.
Who doesn't want a box of cookies?
So it's changed now because we've been doing more and we've been working with people that want that kind of stuff. So now we realize, like, it's not just videos. I don't think we knew that value back then.
And I think trying to bring some of our older clients up to speed on that has just been an epic failure on our part and on their part too.
Yeah. Well, it's a learning curve.
The conversion over from once somebody thinks you just shoot videos to trying to get them to...
It's hard. At a certain point, though, you have to accept that, you're not right for everyone and everyone's not right for
100%.
you.
But the people that are, like what you were saying, Alex, it's people that have hired just video shooters before, and it's just been video shooters, right? They just shoot those videos that just, who knows what they do with, go on Facebook or whatever. It had no value, but they just needed visual content for people to look at. There was no there's
no thought behind it.
Right. So if you go to a client, and that guy gets fired, and they want to try to upgrade themselves by going with a company like us or whoever, then they try to follow that same path as the video shooter, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, and I think that puts a lot of handcuffs on us throughout the process. The age thing, and then that mentality of, oh, they're video shooters and this is what we expect, puts handcuffs on us all the time, because people are like, they don't think, and they're not willing to open up to us and allow us the trust to kind of do what we do, because we work best when we have a lot of control over the process and we have a lot of input, and we're all creative individuals. And I would go to bat any day that we are more creative than a majority of the business-oriented clients that we work with, and they're hiring us for that because the work that brings them.
And then they miss that once they actually hire us.
That once they hire us, they're like, as soon as they get us hired, they're like, we love your work, what you're doing, all this stuff. As soon as they hire us, they try and like clamp down on us and like smother us.
Got you in my cage.
Okay, now we're in the driver's seat. And it's like, no.
You hired us.
You hired us for this reason, and we were in the driver's seat for this because we know what we're doing. And you mentioned all that.
It comes down to them putting their fingerprint in the project.
It just makes it harder.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back, we're not bashing video shooters.
That's an age thing,
right? We still need those people around. They still have to do what they got to do, because not everybody can hire people like us. I mean, in a sense, like it's like they still have to be there.
That's true, but I think everybody needs to. I think people need to have a realization in the industry and understand that if you're going to do something as your job, you should always push it and try and do the best you can.
Yeah, 100%. Not just do it because you think it's cool.
A lot of the people that aren't willing to push it are also the people that complain about not advancing in their career or getting bigger and better projects, and they're not taking the risk, and they're not taking the emphasis on the back end of what creative careers are, and the idea that you're not just creating physical stuff, you're creating emotion and equity and all this other good stuff. And I think that's what differentiates a lot of creators that are excelling at what they're doing versus the general populace of people that think they're creative.
Right. I mean, it shows from the people that are doing the work, so they're progressing, which is how it is. Some people don't, some people do.
Yep.
But what are we going back to? Cut.
Let's talk about the ever-present battle of like budgets and why equipment why you should not give clients stuff for cheaper. You should take stuff away. Let's talk about that. That's a good thing that nobody fucking.
Wait, what?
When you're talking with a client and you're talking about budget for your project and stuff like that, rather than when they're like, oh, well, we don't have the money for that, rather than being like, oh, we'll just throw it in and give you all this other shit, you take stuff away and you're like, well, okay, you can't afford that, but here's an alternative that's similar.
You could compare it to another.
Yeah, so that will.
You go to a doctor's office, like, I need my kid's knee fixed, but I can't afford surgery.
That way you're respecting.
Yeah, because in the creative.
You're respecting what that specific
value is.
And
a lot of creative people don't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't do that in the beginning either. So it's like, it's knowing that like you can say no to stuff, and knowing you can say, hey, I'm not bringing my gimbal out for $10 a day.
Yeah.
You don't get that. Like, you want that, you have to pay for it. It's no different than going down to a sandwich shop and being like, I want bacon on my sandwich. It's $2 more. I don't want to pay $2. All right, then you don't get bacon.
Well, specifically when a client like is asking you for smooth shots, and then they don't want to pay the money for what you think a gimbal should cost.
Why is our industry treated differently than the sandwich shop?
Yeah, that's what we should talk about.
Right.
I think it brings up another solid aspect of the business, which is how you discuss with your client the process and the value that you bring to the table. And another thing, especially in the camera movement side of things, is how you deal with budgets and equipment and allotting equipment to projects based on budget. Because I see a lot of people will, and we've been guilty of this too.
Sure, absolutely, just to get jobs.
A handful of times to get jobs and stuff, is a lot of people will get a budget or get a project and they'll throw everything at it, and then the client's like, hey, we don't have the budget to afford this, and we got like this much money. And then you're like, all right, well, we'll do it anyways. And I think there's an alternative that's a better alternative in the long run for everybody, even yourselves professionally, is where you start to pull away equipment. You still can fulfill the project, but you pull away equipment from it, and you don't give them the full value, because you're essentially throwing away the value of your product right off the bat.
Yeah, it's hard for me to understand that. I mean, from a different perspective, just saying it on the podcast, like, I hate taking stuff away, because then that just takes the stuff from, takes away from my creative.
Yeah,
like,
I was
process,
about to say
like.
the why on why we do keep it is because of that with that belief in personal brand investment and equity. Yeah. And if we provide that stuff on the shoot, especially if we believe it's a worthy project, that benefits us, and we believe in that. And I think that's where that's important.
Well, that's where that self-investment comes into play when we were talking about the other podcast, is like bringing gear that they can't pay for, but we show them anyway to show the value of what we can do and who we are. That's where the loophole comes into play. I think
that's a double-edged sword, though.
It is.
There's a time where that's right, and there's a time where that's not right.
100%. I'm not saying every client should do that,
but you should build your business. If you're out there and you're a filmmaker or a photographer or something like this, like the more experience and time you put in, and based on the context of the situation, you'll get a better understanding. But like, you shouldn't go out and bid a project and then have them pull back like thousands of dollars and like cut the budget in half and then still give them the same value that you originally quoted them, because then you set a precedent of your own value and the market value around you, that you get this quality and this level of work for that price. And once somebody gets something at a certain price, they're going to want it at that price forever.
Right.
So like, if we send our moto crane out for hypothetically, like say like $2,000 a day, that is the price with that client for that moto crane.
Right. You have to respect the value of what
you
that
have to
specific
respect the
piece
value
of equipment is worth, because if you undercut it too much, then you're not only screwing everyone else over if the word gets around that you're selling for that much, but you're just completely undercutting the value of that. And why would you do that? That's hurting you.
Right. Right.
In the end.
But I think when it goes back to that, you don't go to a sandwich shop and say, I would like this sandwich, like turkey sub, please, and I'll add bacon. Oh, that's going to be a $2 extra. Oh, I don't want to pay $2. Well, then you don't get bacon.
Yeah. They're not going to give you the bacon and be like, well, hopefully you like it enough that next time you'll pay for it. That's just not how it's going to work. You can't make money that way.
Yeah.
Hopefully it tastes great. You'll just come back. No, like you're just getting free bacon at that point. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's like, why is that correlation?
You do good at the turkey, right, and then have them return, and they're curious about what else you have.
Why is that?
Because that was really good. Right. Well, what else do you have for this?
Right.
And if you know what you're doing, it gets better from that point moving forward. Yeah. And then they can equate the quality with price, and if we want the best results possible, we can find way more budget for this.
It's Subway science.
It's just interesting though.
Subway science.
Yeah. Bing.
That's facts. That's fact. That's facts. That's fact. That's facts. That's fact.
Nailed it.
But
I'm just wondering why, like, a sandwich shop. I can't even talk. Sandwich shop. Sandwich.
Fuck. Because it's a physical product.
Why did we have to be treated differently? Like, why? I know it's a physical product. That's the hardest thing.
Physical product.
My mom's always said that.
Immediate gratification.
It's hard to sell. She's always said it's hard to sell what you do because it's not something that they can hold in their hands.
You spend your money.
Yes.
And
that's what I was trying to say.
You spend your money and you get a sandwich.
But it is a product.
You spend your money, you get a sandwich right away, and you get to eat and enjoy that sandwich right away.
Sure.
Whereas content
takes weeks, months,
takes time depending on your distribution. It could take months, years to build that brand equity and see that return on it. Yep. So it's a nearsightedness that causes it.
And it sucks.
And it's a lack of understanding of the investment. I always tell our clients, like,
but why do we have to?
It's an investment. And even in email correspondence, when we refer to like budgets and projects and stuff, it's always an investment in their brand.
Yeah.
Because you just have to rehash and slowly educate and repeat that to them. And eventually they start to learn and pick up on it. Oh, hey, look it. We saw returns on this. We saw returns here. We invested more into this. We got more return. Like they slowly learn. It's a slow process. It's not as instant as like the Subway $5 footlong. Like $5, here's your footlong. You're happy, but it's temporary. Right. What we do is a lot longer lasting.
Right. But why is it when we even going back before the business when we were freelancing, like we would be, someone would be like, hey, come shoot me a video or shoot some photos. And we tell them the price, right? And it's like, oh, I can't do that. It's like, okay, because you're a clothing company or you're an alcohol company. I'm not going to come in your shop and be like,
do it for free.
Yeah. Like here's 5 shirts for free. Or like, I can't pay for it. Like you're not going to give me 5 shirts.
I think you got to put it in.
Or like, oh, $25. I'll pay you 10.
Yeah. This ain't no garage. This ain't no garage sale.
What are you going to give me half a shirt at that point?
I think you got to put it in context for them and how they think. Cause I mean, we're guilty of this. We think film business all the time in conversation. So like people will ask us something and we're so oriented in the film of thought in the day. And then we're like, we don't know how to answer it. So I think you got to put it in their terms. So like, it'd be like, well, when you're buying your t-shirt orders, and you get your wholesale invoice for how much your t-shirts cost, you pay it, right? And why do your wholesale t-shirts cost more than your competitor? Well, I buy a better quality cotton t-shirt. Oh, well, that's no different. You should be able to attribute that to our business as well. What are you buying? You're buying a better media and production company that has more experience, more equipment, a better eye, better talent, more time and assets are being brought to your project than next door.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't go to a t-shirt shop and say, I don't see the value in your t-shirt. I don't see the, like, I'm not going to, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Well, I don't go to your t-shirt and be like, I don't think it's worth that value. I don't.
Well, it's like if you like a clothing company and you like the designs they provide, you don't go into their shop. Yeah. Go up to the front and be like, I don't want this design. I want to make my own design. Yeah. It's like the same thing with us. You like our videos. You like how we market our content. When you hire us, why wouldn't you give us the same trust that you think that we have with ourselves? Why wouldn't you give us the keys to basically give you the same treatment that we give ourselves? The same vision. Like if you trust our vision with what we do, trust it with your product.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think we just answered our own question.
I mean, we did.
What we have to educate on and put it in perspective and whatnot for them.
Your sandwich is worth $15. Holy shit! I'll pay you $5.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, and then
I think as you build,
why do we say, okay, fine, I'll do it for $100, not $500?
Because when you're starting out, you don't.
I get it. You have to start out and do that.
You have to build your brand.
You're connected to your product on a deeper level and scale than you are a sandwich. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
The person says, no, I'm not going to give you the sandwich or this shirt. It's like it comes down to a deeper sense of like how you perceive your brand.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And the product
you're connected to your brand more than if it's something you put 40 hours into creating than it is 5 minutes to whip up a sandwich.
Yeah.
And also it's your company. It's not someone making sandwiches with your company shirt on and taking money and they receive them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So I want to swing back around to something that Brandon said a little bit ago.
Swing on over there. Swing it.
Just going to
swing it hard.
Jump on that swing set.
Swing it.
But he talked about the getting a client in on something less budget heavy and then showing them the great results that you're able to get with that and then building them back up to bigger videos and stuff like that. And I think that applies to a lot of people, but it applies to a lot of people on like such a small scale that's not conducive to larger business models other than outside of like a freelance individual. Because like you always hear about like do a $50 photo shoot and then you get the client and then you can build up to shooting their whole menu or something like that. But that business model doesn't work with larger businesses. No. But the mentality does. Because what we did at Reelbros with our structuring and the camera movement side of stuff is we tried to offer as much variety in categories as possible. So whether it's like drone or pursuit vehicle and stuff like that, we have it tiered out to where like we got the Big Daddy moto crane that goes out for a lot of money for like big commercial work and stuff like that. And then if that's not your cup of tea for your project, then we got the black arm and then we got the grip tech arm and all the way down to like our little kill shock. So like we can facilitate pursuit across a large portion of budgets and different situations and work with people and get them hooked on the great results you can get when you don't hang out of the back of a truck with a gimbal. So I think that's an important piece that not a lot of people implement is being able to structure a variety in your business in singular categories like that and also just across the board. So having multiple like revenue streams, like something that we're working on right now is like exploring the idea of maybe doing t-shirts and stuff like that and expanding the brand to where
stock footage
and stuff like that. So when certain areas are slower, like we just came out of the summer season here in Arizona, which for commercial media is like
it's a graveyard.
A graveyard. And then we're getting back into the shoot season where everything cools down and everybody's got their end of the year budgets and new year budgets to spend and stuff like that. But having multiple revenue streams so that when you do hit slower times with certain pieces of equipment or certain aspects of the business, you can still carry through supplement with other things. And I think that's why we built that. Yeah.
That's why we did Real Motion, I think.
Yeah.
So we're not just the person that has a movie or has a red, right? You know, we don't even carry cameras in house because we didn't see the value in doing that because it's so easy to get cameras anywhere else. We wanted to
Whereas it's not so
branch
easy to
out.
get the support system for the camera.
Correct. It's not easy to get that, and it's not easy to learn that stuff unless you have it, right? And you can't just rent it and learn it in one day. It's difficult to do that and, kind of master that stuff. So that's why we built out Real Motion, was to branch out. We can move the camera wherever you want in any different, shape, way, or form. Like
We can supplement productions.
yeah. If the freaking jib's not working, the cable cam's working. If the cable cam's not working, the black arm's working. If the black arm's not working, the motor crane's working. Like, there's ways for us to always be doing something on any production. So I think that's exactly why we built it like that. And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, though, is they just buy a red, and it's hard to just sell a red, right? It's hard to just sell a movie op. It's hard to just do that because you have one thing that you only have, and it's, you get down to it, it's like how many people are actually going to rent the red and rent the movie op every single time. It's
and then the problem is when you have just the red, you can't do that. When you have that tighter budget stuff or that lower budget stuff, you can't drop down to something lower. You just have to.
You're stuck.
You have to suck it up on your red, and you have to drop the price of your red, which does a disservice to the entire market,
right,
and industry and stuff
red
like
owners,
that.
Like
other red owners, to where like you see people like, I think there's a guy in Arizona that like he lets 2 reds go away for $200 a day, and you're like, holy shit. One, I'm glad we don't own a red, because kiss that fucking market goodbye. And 2, it's like you don't realize that, yes, I understand you have to probably pay back your camera and you're trying to get out on as much work as possible, but you are doing a huge hit to the entire market value of the service provided when you do stuff like that. So being able to have the awareness and maturity and professionalism to understand that you can work with lower budgets and everybody's budget, but how do you do that? And how do you pull equipment away, pull assets away, pull time away to fulfill that budget, but still give them and provide them excellent service that keeps them coming back?
Exactly. It goes back to the turkey sandwich.
Goes back to the turkey. I was just going to say, it goes back to the turkey sandwich.
Give them a fucking awesome turkey sandwich.
Yep.
Don't give them the bacon.
The club
if
sub.
they're not going to pay for the bacon, don't give them the bacon.
Yep, you can't.
But give them an awesome turkey sandwich so they want to come back and they want to explore your menu.
It just sucks for us because we've always, like, if there's a client that's, I mean, for instance, we're shooting the Coyotes next week, the NHL team here in Arizona. What I was trying to say is, like, we're bringing that because we want to show them what this can do and how it could possibly value us and them in the future. That's what I'm trying to say.
So we're bringing the bolt in for the Coyotes promo this coming week, and it's gonna be fun. It's one of those projects where the budget, I would say, was
allotted all to the arm.
Yeah, it was extremely limited for the request to have the bolt, and it was kind of, a lot of people are doing a lot of like favors for each other and a lot of discounted stuff to get it in there, to have the opportunity to be on the project and to show them the value that it would bring to the.
They've never used a bolt
promo material.
So
yeah,
bringing gear like that, for us to have that opportunity to bring that gear to them and operate it and use it and shoot it is a value to us as the brand, right? Even if we're not getting paid jack shit, which is completely fine, because we know that we think that this is going to add value to Phoenix, Phoenix's market.
And when we say we're not getting paid, we're not undercutting what it's valued at.
No, we're not.
We are strictly acting as technically the middleman so that we can use this opportunity to network the brand and get to know other people in the industry, as well as we've never used a bolt before and we've really wanted to get our hands on that. So this is going to be a learning experience for us. And this goes, if you listen to other podcasts, we talk about the triangle. You're either going to make money, learn something new, or meet someone new. And if it meets 2 of the 3 criteria, do it.
Right. Yeah. And right now it's meeting 2 of the 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
but that goes back to the gear stuff where
it was nice to keep it in Arizona too. So the bolt's coming from it.
Well, that's true.
We're trying to.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. Well, at least we've met the people that we know can change Phoenix. We've met and they know our goals. So
alliance.
We're trying to do stuff.
The coalition of Arizona.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
And I think coming in on that, the Coyotes project, we kind of talked ourselves full circle talking about the Coyotes promo upcoming project, and in the fact that we ourselves are kind of being the bacon, and we're kind of giving them the bacon for a discounted rate.
Yeah.
than it should be on the turkey
It's
sandwich.
not instead of $2, it's $1.50.
Yeah.
But this is a reason because we think we see value. We do see value in doing this project, right? You know,
Loads of value. And actually, funny that we should be talking about this right now. I was going through some old photo posts and stuff to start loading up the good old Instagram. And I came across a photo that we took probably close to a year ago now that is from inside the Coyotes stadium of their big poster hanging down. And I recall very, very real being in there doing the stadium walk for a cable cam job that we did in the arena, and walking around the stadium, and they were practicing on the ice and looking around the stadium and saying, hey, it'd be really fucking cool to film for the Coyotes one day.
Yeah.
And here we are, probably a little bit under a year now, maybe a few months, give or take. And we're shooting on a project with the Coyotes with a bolt that's promo that's going to be played on the boards in the arena.
And on
I
TV.
think that's a manifestation that is really cool.
But that's why we wanted to take this project.
Every year when we walk by the Bolt at NAB too, we say that we're like,
Already
we'll
used
get that on a project one day.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
for sure. And then we found some guys local here in Tucson, Arizona, that have a bolt in house. So it's awesome to have some local guys here. They've got some pretty sweet equipment. So we're gonna have them come up and hopefully do more projects with them.
Yeah, and I think that's a cool experience to be the kids running around NAB looking at all the toys and fun stuff, and then be able to
We get to use that. Yeah,
build a
right.
business.
Dream on, dude.
build a business that we get to then use this stuff
Yeah, it's cool.
and make a little bit of money with it.
A little, just very little. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a cool reminiscent thing that I realized yesterday about the project is we
it's
told
cool.
ourselves it'd be cool to shoot for the Coyotes, and now we have the opportunity in front of us to be on set and be kind of running a crucial componentry of it to bring them something different and unique, which is what our whole entire brand is about.
Yep.
Let's shoot dope shit.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that's what we're gonna do.
That's what we're gonna do.
Dope shit.
So that's gonna be an exciting project. It's gonna be actually this upcoming Sunday. We're gonna drop this podcast on Thursday.
We're
The
dropping
project.
So when you're,
Today's Wednesday.
when you're listening
Well, I
to
said
this,
Thursday. I mean, it's like okay,
give
tomorrow.
us a couple days to get that project done.
Yeah, no. Sunday is when we're loading in, and then we'll see what happens from there. But it's gonna be cool.
Should be a good time.
Shooting
all
all
around.
25 players.
We'll be updating on our story. So
Oh, yeah. We're gonna shoot a big BTS.
Yeah.
Which will be fun.
All the beatus.
BTS.
Bits.
All right. Well, I think it's probably a good conversation. I mean, we probably contradicted ourselves like
We did.
20 times.
We
but
became the bacon
I think
at the end
that's-
of the story, which is kind of cool.
we became the
You know,
bacon.
Became the bacon. Maybe that's a different way of looking at
it.
the perspective wise. It's like
in this
we're
project,
the bacon.
in this project, guys, with Sneaky Big, yeah, we became the
Instead
bacon.
of gear being the bacon, we ended up being the
We are
bacon
the
for
bacon.
this specific project. You know.
Yep.
Which is fine. You know, you got to find what is valuable for you at the time. You know, if it is valuable for you to give them the bacon, then
And if it
give them the
meets
bacon.
2 of the 3 requirements, like we always go over,
2 to 3.
it's worth it.
Yep.
Right.
And it's a learning process. I don't think we have answers for
No.
everything,
We're
and I
not
don't think
giving-
we will for a long time.
No.
And some of the people that are way more experienced than us don't
Yes.
have
They're
answers
probably going to
either,
tell us we're
so
idiots. Like,
it's
oh,
just
they're
a-
stupid idiots.
It's just a journey along the way, and
Yeah.
trying to make cool experiences happen and
On that note,
do it.
cheers to our 2 years coming up in October.
Oh,
It's
shit.
coming up month, so
October.
we'll be 2
Oh.
years old.
Damn.
Wow. It's
Well,
weird. That's cool.
It's been a ride.
Yeah.
It's been a ride. All right. I say let's wrap it up and keep your eyes and ears posted for the next On the Reel podcast. It's coming up here soon. We promise we won't let it be as long as last time, but
Yeah.
thanks for listening and
let us know what guest you want.